Bitcoin is still consolidating in this massive consolidation phase, and on today's update video I'm gonna be giving you guys an update on this exact consolidation phase, what is happening with the German government, the spot Bitcoin ETF, and more importantly, what are we right now seeing as the most important downward sloping resist line, the most important trend lines to be breaking, and more importantly, what is going to be the next big move for Bitcoin. I'm gonna be discussing it, I'm gonna be including my trade, what I'm gonna be doing next, and many more important charts will be getting discussed. So without any further ado, don't forget to once again slap on that like button back above 1,000 likes. It will be highly appreciated. And with that being said, let me jump straight away in towards the content. So first of all, we can see here on the imminent short term, Bitcoin is creating this very important consolidation phase, and clearly here on the top side, sitting around 59,000 US dollars, this is the most important resistance for Bitcoin. And here on this upward sloping support line, we can clearly spot that this is the most important support line to be watching. So yeah, you can clearly see 1, 2, 3, 4 touch points in a row. Every single time once we did touch this level, we bounced from it. And yeah, if we are potentially going to be breaking below this very important support line, yeah, then potentially we're going to be seeing a bigger drop towards the downside. But currently still, we're just in the midst of this consolidation phase. And while Bitcoin is still consolidating, one of the most important downward sloping trend lines is going to be this downtrend here on the 12-hour time frame. And whenever Bitcoin is going to be starting to be breaking above this exact downtrend, that is the point where we're going to be starting to say, okay, now the bigger reversal in the market is going to get started. So I am going to be closely monitoring this exact level, because whenever we do break this downtrend, that is the point where Bitcoin is going to be starting to see that bigger continuation back towards the upside. So yes, Bitcoin is finally consolidating after we had, of course, a significant drop towards the downside. This is maybe one of the first times we have been seeing some actual consolidation and some actual time that we were not going lower. And yes, while this is happening, the German government has sold over 45,000 Bitcoin, and currently they have about 5,000 Bitcoin left, which is valued around 280 million US dollars. But yeah, while the German government is still selling, we can see that the US spot Bitcoin ETF is still buying loads and loads of Bitcoin. We're buying over 78 million US dollars yesterday, day before 147. So guys, while the German government is actually selling right now, the spot Bitcoin ETF from the US is actually still buying. And if we're just looking at how much Bitcoin BlackRock currently owns, guys, they're owning more than 312,000 Bitcoin. And as time is going to continue, as decades will continue, they're going to be owning more and more Bitcoin. And ultimately, this is going to be something very good for the market. So yeah, they are not done buying Bitcoin at all. We can see that currently we're having an ever so slight uptick in momentum again on the spot Bitcoin ETF. So let's continue that momentum to send Bitcoin even higher. But while we're looking at Bitcoin on the daily chart, we can see that currently we're creating a bullish divergence on the daily time frame. This is basically whenever the RSI is confirming a higher low on the chart and the price action is confirming a lower low, you're creating a bullish divergence. And so are we right now. We're creating this bullish divergence. Price has not really reflected it yet, but we are creating one for sure. And if we're just looking at the most important pattern to be watching, we are currently creating a falling wedge pattern. And this falling wedge pattern is expected to be breaking out in the coming 15 to 20 days ahead of ourselves. And also today, or potentially on Monday or Tuesday next week, we're going to get the spot Ethereum ETF getting accepted, the official S1A approval. And that will basically mean the approval for the Ethereum ETF to actually go live. And honestly, whenever the spot Ethereum ETF is going to get launched, it is going to be doing something very great for the market, not only for Bitcoin, but for the altcoins in general as well. And that potentially could be marking the bottom. Right now, we're creating this beautiful pattern. And honestly, this compression is about to be ending. And whenever this compression is going to be ending on Bitcoin, that is the point where we're going to be seeing that next big push higher getting created. So Bitcoin is creating this beautiful compression pattern with this downward sloping resist line, and whenever we're going to be breaking the trend, we are just going to be seeing a big push higher. And the price target of this exact pattern right now is of course at the top side of the wedge, and this time around the top side of the wedge is laying around 71 to 73,000 US dollars, and that is also why I have set up my trade here with my price target laying around 71 to 73,000 US dollars. And yeah, at that point I will be making over 500,000 US dollars if Bitcoin hits that level. So yeah, that is what I'm currently aiming for with my trade. I'm aiming to of course make at least 400 $100,000 from off this trade. So yeah, if you want to be staying up to date about how I'm going to be developing this trade on, or if you want to be staying up to date about whenever I'm going to be taking profits on this trade, make sure to subscribe to the channel to stay up to date. And yes, guys, if you want to be trading yourself as well, if you're right now, go to the link description of today's video, which you can find right here. You can currently claim a free $500 airdrop position if you right now sign up an account using that link below. And also on top of that, you could get a deposit bonus worth up to $30,000. So if you're interested in trading, if you're interested in making some money with trading, make sure to check it out in the link description of today's video. So yeah, this is my strategy, at least what I'm going to be doing with my trades. I'm planning to be making $400,000 to $500,000, and whenever I do so, I'm going to be letting you know here on the channel on what further steps I will be taking. So yes, also looking at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, we can still see that the majority of the liquidity is laying above us. To be exact, if I'm going to be going to the liquidation map and put it on the 30-day time frame, we can see that, yes, the majority of the liquidity is still laying above us. And if we're going to be already hitting $65,000, we're going to be seeing over $8 billion worth of Bitcoin short liquidations, which is, of course, quite insane if you would ask me. So the majority of the liquidity is clearly laying above us, not below us at this time. And whenever Bitcoin is going to be pushing higher, that is the point where we're going to be seeing this big squeeze getting created. And just like I pointed out with the chart I drew, I think we're going to be getting like a couple days of sideways consolidation before this reversal really is going to get started. We had the same over here, and probably we're going to get something similar this time around here. I mean, the consolidation phase compared to this one is looking very similar for Bitcoin. We already bounced from the low back towards the top side, and now we're just seeing some sideways consolidation before we're going to be getting that push higher. And yeah, whenever we do break above that downward sloping resistance line, that is the point where we're probably going to start to get moving very quickly. Here on the weekly time frame as well, price action is creating a higher high. And here on the chart, we're creating a lower low. So basically, we're creating also a hidden bullish divergence on the weekly time frame. And even more importantly, if we're going to be looking at the macro perspective, guys, there is something very big happening yesterday. I mean, yesterday we got the US inflation. It came in at 3%, and that was 0.1% below consensus. And more importantly, core inflation dropped all the way down to 3.3%, while the consensus was 3.4%. So this is actually a very good development, because overall market is pricing in that we're most likely an 86% chance, is it currently? There's an 86% chance in September that we're going to get a rate cut. So you can see here, there's an 86% chance that we're going to go to 500 to 525 BPS. And that is going to be overly bullish for the market, because as that is going to be happening, the chances that Bitcoin is going to be re-entering its next bull market is going to be even greater, because as interest rates go lower, borrowing money is going to be easier, and as borrowing money is going to be easier, people are of course going to get lower rates or lower interest on their banks, and then it's going to be allowing more capital to come back into crypto, because of course the stable coins of the crypto are offering you those good yields. And besides that, there's just more money going to get entered in the system, which is ultimately going to be pushing crypto higher. So yeah, very good for the stock market and crypto that this is finally happening. Inflation is coming down, and this is going to be ultimately sending Bitcoin higher. So this is happening in September, so we have to be a little bit more patient for that, but the market is going to start to price it in as we're going to be moving close towards this date, and as we're going to be knowing more about what is actually going to be happening next year. So make sure to pay attention closely towards what is happening over here. But currently, things are looking quite good for the market in general. And yes, make sure to keep your eyes wide open also on Ethereum whenever that ETF is going to get launching. It is going to be probably beginning next week here. And guys, that is ultimately going to be pushing the Ethereum price much, much higher. So this was it for me in today's update video. If you did enjoy it, don't forget to slam that like button. And I see you guys back again on another video tomorrow. Peace out. Goodbye.